She walks alone. Not because no one chose her, but because she chose herself first. And the world doesn't know what to do with a woman like that. People stare. They ask questions. Why is she always alone? Is she too cold? Too proud? Too broken? But no one ever stops to wonder. What if she's not missing anything? What if she's found something we haven't? What if silence isn't loneliness? What if solitude is her sanctuary? There is something hauntingly beautiful about a woman who walks in stillness. Not chasing. Not convincing. Not explaining. Just being. And that being, it threatens the system. Because women like her, they aren't waiting to be chosen. They're choosing. Choosing themselves over half-loves and empty promises. Choosing presence over performance. Once, she did it all. Smiled when it hurt. Stayed when it burned. Begged for love like it was a currency she didn't own. But not anymore. She's done performing. She's done shrinking. Now, she walks with quiet certainty. A kind of strength that doesn't yell, but resonates. People say she's changed. She hasn't. She just remembered who she was before the world taught her to forget. There's a cost to choosing yourself. You lose company, applause, validation. But what you gain? Oh, what you gain is peace that can't be purchased. And you start to see things differently. You realize love isn't a rescue mission. It's a recognition. She no longer looks for someone to complete her. Because she isn't broken. She's whole. And when love comes again, if it comes, they won't meet a girl hoping to be enough. They'll meet a woman who knows she is. But let me tell you something about women like her. They don't wake up one day and decide to be strong. They're forged, in silence, in fire, in rooms where they cried quietly while everyone else slept. She's not bitter. She's discerning. She's not heartless. She just stopped giving her soul to people who didn't know what to do with it. You see her peace and think she's lucky. But you never saw her rebuilding herself after each heartbreak. Not once. But again and again, until peace was no longer a miracle, but her boundary. They call her intimidating. But she's not. She's just clear. Clear on what she deserves. Clear on what she refuses. Clear on what real love actually means. Real love doesn't suffocate. It doesn't require her to shrink, to quiet her voice, to dim her light. She'd rather walk alone for years than walk with someone who doesn't walk beside her. There were times she almost settled. Almost gave in. Nights when loneliness felt like a scream inside her bones. But then she remembered, she wasn't put here to be half-loved. Her solitude isn't a punishment. It's her temple. She drinks coffee with her thoughts. She dances barefoot to songs that remind her of no one but herself. She falls asleep knowing her peace is intact, not threatened by late replies or broken promises. This isn't rebellion. It's resurrection. She is not waiting to be chosen. She is choosing. Every single day, herself. And when love finds her next, it won't be to rescue her. It will be to join her. To stand beside her. To meet her soul with another whole one. Until then, she keeps walking. Head high. Not because the world told her she's enough, but because she finally started believing it. And that changes everything. So the next time you see a woman walking alone, don't pity her. Don't question her. Just know, she is walking through a world she's no longer afraid of. And maybe, just maybe, that's not loneliness. It's power. It's peace. It's the beginning of something sacred. Her. Entirely. She's the woman who doesn't beg to stay. If you push her away, she won't fight for a place in your life. She'll simply walk, gracefully, powerfully, finally. She knows she's a storm and a still lake. She knows her value isn't up for negotiation. She's stopped asking for permission to feel. She stopped apologizing for being intense, for being too much. Because in the right hands, she's just enough. The nights she once spent waiting for a reply, now, they belong to her books, her dreams, her skin bathed in candlelight. She has learned to savor her own company. Not out of necessity, but choice. And that choice, that sacred choosing of herself, has rebuilt her. Not into someone colder, but someone wiser. She doesn't seek revenge. She seeks alignment. The people who ghosted her, she thanks them. They taught her silence can be a gift. The ones who doubted her, She doesn't need to prove them wrong. She only needs to prove herself right. She no longer defines love as sacrifice. She defines it as expansion. And if being with someone costs her her peace, it's too expensive. She's not afraid to walk away. Because she's not walking into nothing. She's walking into herself. She is not cold. She's clear. She is not alone. She's aligned. She is not lost. She's arrived. And the world, it may never understand, but it will feel her. Her presence. Her absence. Her standard. This is the era of the woman who rises alone. Not because she must, but because she can. So if you find yourself standing where she stood, on the edge of choosing yourself, jump. Because on the other side of lonely is liberated. And on the other side of pain is power. And somewhere deep in the silence of that decision, you'll hear your own voice again. Not the one shaped by fear, but the one built from truth. So choose you. Again and again and again. Until your reflection says, thank you. Until your presence feels like home. Until love is no longer the goal, but the bonus. Because the woman who chooses herself first, she never walks alone. She walks with clarity, with courage, with the quiet roar of 1,000 women who came before her and never got the chance. You are their voice. You are your own salvation. And when they ask you why you walk alone, smile. And tell them, because this time, I finally know where I'm going. And that is more than enough. Because this woman, the one walking alone, she carries a quiet revolution with every step. She writes her own vows to herself, promises to never abandon her own heart again. Each morning, she wakes with gratitude, not for who stayed, but for who left and made room for truth. She no longer chases closure. She creates peace. She takes herself on dates, wears lipstick just for her reflection, and speaks softly to her inner child. She is rebuilding a home within, a place where tenderness and power coexist. When the world tries to rush her, she slows down. When people try to define her, she rewrites the script. She is not a mirror for others' projections. She is the flame. She speaks kindly now. To herself. To others. Not because she's weak, but because kindness is her revolution. And if you ask her what she wants now, it's simple. A soft life. A steady heart. A place where she never has to beg to be understood. She is not healing for a man. She is healing for the girl who didn't know she was already whole. This is her era. This is her becoming. And there's no going back. She is the one who glows quietly in a room and no longer needs to explain her light. She no longer breaks herself into smaller pieces so others can feel whole. She knows the difference between compromise and self-erasure. And when she speaks with roots. She does not rush love. She does not chase closure. She holds space for herself like she once did for everyone else. In her world now, peace is a requirement, not a reward. Reciprocity is not optional. It's sacred. And love. Love must be freedom wearing commitment like a second skin. She's not looking for perfect. She's looking for presence. For someone who sees the whole of her and doesn't flinch. Because this time, she won't fold. She won't wait. She won't abandon herself to be accepted. This time, she walks forward not with fear, but with fire. And every step she takes, it's not just hers. It's a path lit for every woman still learning that she too can rise.